then I run and follow her call. 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 They run and follow her call. They call me and you have been both with please.
I have tackled two things during the last 2 odd years from a 5-year plan that I did, and those two things I've had moderate success on. The first point was, could I come off the sertraline that I was on? And I gave it a good shot, I really did. But the answer is no. But that's something that I might be able to tackle again, sort of later on in the future. Particularly as circumstances have changed now, and that's really the other main point of this 5-year plan, and that was to move out of Granville. And I've done more than that, really, because I've got myself into a house that I own and that I can more or less afford to own sort of long term, really. And that has put a bit of a stop on the third thing in this 5-year plan, and that was to get a new job. Because the original idea was that the new home and the new job would happen at the same time, because I wasn't going to stay in Harrogate. Well, obviously that's changed, really, and I'll never say no to a job that I'm capable of doing at higher pay, but now it would have to be so restricted. I think it would almost be impossible to come by at this point in time, because it would have to be here in Harrogate, because I'm here now permanently in Markenfield for the foreseeable future, and that's going to be, 5, 10 odd years at least. So I can't look for a new job that's miles and miles away. So we'll push that one aside as well. The next thing on the list was health, and that was something that I sort of started a little bit, and I got a fair way. I lost quite a bit of weight, but because I wasn't doing it properly, and because I didn't have the motivation's the wrong word, but I had a few setbacks, and I never recovered from them. And I've not done hardly anything since. I feel that is the next thing that I have to work on, and so I guess that's what I'm going to be doing now. I think this has been made clear to me on a number of levels. First, as I've been getting older, I have noticed more and more health issues. I know that sounds silly, but I have. My teeth. Oh, over the last 5 years, the amount of work that's been going on. They always said when I was younger and I had a brace, you'll end up with fillings, blah 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 blah. But it's beginning to happen. And the other thing is, I used to be able to get up at 6 o'clock every morning. I did it for years when I went to school, and for no particular reason, since school didn't start until, much, much later. But I ran a tight ship. I was up at the crack of dawn, and I could go to bed 12, maybe 1 o'clock, and I could be fine. I can't do that anymore. I just can't do that anymore. I actually need to have a certain amount of sleep. I mean, some people will say it wasn't healthy, not to do that in the first place. But the point is that now I'm older, I can feel the problems with the health that I couldn't feel at that point in time. And I think that's a matter of age. And, you know, it's come about recently with the walking to work. I never thought that it would be such an issue. You know, it's one that I'm sorting out, one that I've sorted out really. You know, I've got these insoles now which help me walk. They're sort of like posture insoles. I've got proper corn shields that have made it all right to walk on the corns, and in fact, you know, to hopefully stop them from regrowing. And I have, hopefully, I'm going to find out that I will be able to invest in some proper walking shoes which will be of great benefit to me, I suppose. It means that I won't be walking to and from work in my work shoes. They will simply be for work. But, you know, those were the things that I never had to think about before, and never thought would actually be an issue. And now they are, and you know, it's really weird. I just get too tired, I get exhausted too quickly, and some of that I think is just because, well, I'm terribly fat, basically. And I figure that now I figure that this is the start of something more serious, and that if I don't now sort things out properly long term, I'm going to have major health issues, real health issues, in the next couple of years, which could be serious, really serious. You're talking like, you know, starting to get medical conditions because of weight, stuff like that. Maybe even, you know, problems like heart disease, stuff like that. And I do worry about that now, which I never thought of before. And I think actually I might have to do something about it, because I know this sounds silly, but today, for example, I'd gone out for a special lunch to celebrate my nan's birthday, her 88th birthday. And we had it at our... we didn't go out, we had it at our parents' house, and they'd cooked it, you know, especially, and they put a lot of work into it, and I don't think I even had a huge amount, to be totally honest, but I bloated something proper after this lunch, and when I went, you know, to go to the toilet, so to speak, the buttons on my trousers just popped off, like, not you know, one, but all of them. And of course I had to have a safety pin then to keep my trousers up, or rather to keep my trousers closed, because obviously my braces were holding them up. And I just thought at that point, you know, okay, it's not because I pigged out particularly on that one meal, you know, and it's more to do with the fact that I bloated rather than, you know, was that fat all the time. But it suddenly hit me that my body is not like it used to be, and that I suppose if I don't start actually doing something about it long term, with the thought in my head, not that I'm doing it as a project or for fun or because I want this, that and the other, but because if I don't, things could go so seriously wrong with my health that it could affect everything. You know, it could shorten my life, that sort of thing. That perhaps I ought to make another effort, but with it in mind that, you know, this time it has to be a little bit more serious. It's a little bit like it's actually really important, and it is something that I'm going to have to do if I want to sort of have a good standard of living, I suppose, health-wise, for the rest of my days, really.